When we've reached our limits of adulting, it's easy to long for simpler times, like enjoying Saturday morning cartoons without a care in the world, or savoring every last drop of sugary milk at the bottom of your cereal bowl. Well, Kachava's new Cinnamon French Toast all-in-one nutrition shake gives you all the nostalgic feels and benefits. Made with real cinnamon bark for the richest, deepest, most authentic flavor. Just 2 scoops provide the complete nutrition your body craves with protein, fiber, greens, and more. It's an easy upgrade to your daily wellness ritual. No fillers, no nonsense. Just the highest quality ingredients that taste delicious. Adulting may not always be fun, but at least you can stock up on treats without asking your parents for permission. So whether you're kickstarting your morning or fueling your afternoon, treat yourself to a sip of nostalgia. Go to Kachava.com and use code FITNESS for 15% off your first order. That's Kachava, Kachava.com, code FITNESS.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. This is Money Moves on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Look at us. We're cruising on a Monday. Welcome back to Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, the VSiN Watch app, any of our great terrestrial stations across the country. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Stormy Buonantony and John Jastremski with you. Coming up this hour, we'll have Chuck Esposito of the Red Rock Racing Sportsbook. He'll join us, talk through some NFL and college football futures. We've got a full Major League Baseball slate, best bets at the end of the hour, and so much more. But I got to peel behind the curtain here real quickly, JJ. We were talking in the commercial break about a Call Me Crazy that I had done a long time ago with JVT, and I learned that you are a runner. Call me crazy, but like the runner's high is not real. There's no way that you guys get this like feeling of elation and that everything's fine just because you've run a certain number of miles.
Stormy, this is such fake news. I'm so disappointed in you. I thought we were good pals. The runner's high is so real and so spectacular. And as someone who's not been able to run for the last 5 weeks, I miss it gloriously. Like, I don't even know how you describe it. Like, there's not really a feeling to it. It's just like just imagine your adrenaline. Like when you nail like a sideline hit and you just finished up like a good interview and then you're like, guys, back to you. And you're probably like, yeah, I nailed it. I knocked it out of the park. That's like the feeling of a runner's high when you finish up the run. I've never run a marathon. I've run 5 half marathons. Like it's as good as it gets. So the moral of the story is I can't wait to get back running so I can I'll text you the screenshot of my next my run on the Nike app and I'll say runner's high, real and spectacular.
That's awesome. So I do just one quick follow-up. How many miles does it take to get there typically? Because maybe I've never got past like maybe 3 consistently because I just die.
You know what? That's I get it. And running in Vegas in July and August is not something I would advise to anyone. I would say at least 4. At least 4. Probably 5 and beyond. But you don't want to get crazy. Like, I don't think you need to go and run 10 miles now to get a runner's high. It happens. You know, sometimes you just got to trust your guy.
It still sounds suspect to me. It just sounds suspect. That's all I'm saying. You know what also sounds suspect? The quarterback battle that is going on out there in Cleveland, which we will discuss as the next stop in our NFL training camp tour. Roll it.
Join Stormy and JVT as they go on the Money Moves NFL training camp tour.
We need to get an edited open for the next 24 hours. Stormy and JJ, just adjust one of the initials. That's all we got to do. We are down in Cleveland talking all things Cleveland Browns for this segment. This is a good reminder for our NFL training camp tour on the VSiN Watch app. Every single team as we go through is going to be available there on demand for you to go check back as you gear up to make some of your NFL futures bets for the season. This is a team that actually, if you go in our NFL betting guide, I have taken their season win total under 6.5. I laid some heavy juice to do so, JJ. This is a team that, for as many things as I love that they did during the offseason to build for the future is not now in Cleveland. And I think this is another down year for the Browns.
So you're probably right. There's just a lot of uncertainty here, Stormy, with this entire team. They have a new head coach. Todd Monken, the longtime offensive coordinator for John Harbaugh and for Lamar Jackson, now gets his chance to be a head coach. Is he an upgrade over Kevin Stefanski? My gut tells me no, but there's unknown. He's never been an NFL head coach before. They have a new defensive coordinator. I, for one, was always a big fan of the Jim Schwartz defense. The Jim Schwartz defense with Myles Garrett leading the charge was always a group and a unit that you could count on, Stormy, in these games at home specifically. Because I don't know if you noticed that trend over the last couple of years in the NFL, but I've been all over it. When you get the Browns playing at home, their defense just seemed to be drastically different than when you took them on the road for whatever the reason. So, listen, home Browns, good defense. Road Browns, not such a good defense. Quarterback is a huge problem. I don't care if it's Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders. It's one of the worst quarterback situations in the league. Now, how do you hit that over for a win total? How do you go and exceed expectations? I think it's the idea that, hey, their defense doesn't miss that much of a beat by adding Jared Verse, getting him back in the Myles Garrett trade. He's a really good defensive lineman. He's a guy that gets after the quarterback. He's had double-digit sack years. They add Quincy Williams, who should fit in that defense, and I think he can go and get back to the form he was at a couple of years ago where he was a really good linebacker. But then you got to look at what they did draft-wise. Taking Fano, the kid out of Utah, and then taking those two wide receivers in Concepcion and Denzel Boston, and everybody in Browns camp, Stormy, is raving about Denzel Boston. I think it's, hey, this coaching staff is better than you think. Our young players have given us a much-needed uptick, and we have survived the loss of Myles Garrett. That, combined with a last-place schedule, that's how you get to 6 or 7 wins. I have a hard time getting there because quarterback matters. I think the Browns will be a very similar team to what they were last year. I think they'll be spunky. I think they'll be in a lot of games, but I think they'll lose a lot of close games because it's going to be Shedeur Sanders or Deshaun Watson needing to make plays. And I don't know about you, I don't feel particularly good about them making plays.
Yes. And so I think the crux of my issue is at the quarterback position because that's who's driving the bus when all is said and done. And I mentioned this already a little bit earlier and call me crazy, but with Deshaun Watson, and I mean, over his 4 years in Cleveland, he is 9-10 in 19 starts and hasn't played more than 7 games in any season due to either suspension or injury. Based on the money that he has made so far in Cleveland, that's $10 million a game. Just keep that in mind. For what he has produced for you, he has made $10 million a game. And when I look at what he has done in the last 6 years, it's been essentially nothing. And if he's the guy that you're giving the nod to, what does that then say about the rest of the quarterback room? Like, that tells me in a nutshell that Shedeur Sanders isn't good and that Dylan Gabriel isn't good. So if those are your options, even with the offensive line getting upgraded, even with your wide receivers getting upgraded, I don't know if you have the answers mentally or physically at the most important position. Yes, I agree with you on the defensive side of things. That's going to be what's going to carry you. But even then, you lost the best player in the National Football League because you traded him away. I like Jared Verse. I like the pieces that they got back for him. And I think over the course of the next couple years, as this young talent that they have brought in improves, this will be more of a buy-on team. This will be a team that I want to bet week to week as well. But for what they are and in the division that they play in, I have a really hard time buying in on anything positive for the Browns. So I did, like I said, I played the under 6.5. It was minus 160. I don't like to make a habit of laying that type of juice for a bet that I have to sit on for months and months and months. But I felt confident enough that they're not going to hit 7+.
Weirdly, I don't love it, and I'm not going to play it. And I'm definitely not going to take sides against the family here. I actually kind of like the over at 5.5.
That's fine.
I kind of do.
I would be happy to have
because
a middle
you know what
with
it is, Stormy? I think the schedule is soft. I think they can be a sneaky good home team. And my bigger bet within the division, it's twofold. One we'll get to, I think, tomorrow involving the Cincinnati Bengals. But the other one is involving the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't like the Steelers. So, like, when you go through that schedule, you see the Jets there. I see teams within the NFC South where I don't think that's a great division. You have a game against the Raiders. The Raiders, to me, are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. At the Giants, are we sure that's going to be an automatic loss? Like, I think there's a pathway for them to get to over 5.5 wins. 6.5 is tough. There's no way I'm betting the Browns to go 7+ wins this year. Like, I'm looking at that total on DraftKings. You could get me there 5.5. You're not getting me there at 6.5. And what do you have it at? 6.5?
I have the under 6.5. So that's what I'm saying. I'll be happy if I'll take a middle. We can get 6 and we can both win.
6 and 11. Right now, if you're asking me, JJ, life on the line, what is your win-loss record for the Cleveland Browns in 2026? I tell you to go 6 and 11. That'd be my guess.
Like I said, we'll both win. Who do you have winning this division, by the way? Who do you have winning the AFC North?
Baltimore Ravens. I like Cincinnati a lot. I think Cincinnati is more than capable of winning multiple playoff games on the road because of the respect I have for their quarterback. And I know Joe Burrow hasn't won a playoff game in a couple of years, but correct me if I'm wrong, he went to Buffalo and beat Josh Allen. He went to Kansas City and beat Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead. There are not many quarterbacks in the NFL that can say they've done exactly that. I think he's a killer. I think he's an assassin. So I think Joe Burrow, if he's going to go and play 16 or 17 games, I think he can go and win playoff games on the road. Why do I like Baltimore? That team just has a pedigree for winning divisions. And I think Jesse Minter, as a new head coach, is going to unlock something different out of that defense that, to me, has underwhelmed. And I think Jesse Minter, look at the work he did with these, I almost called them the San Diego Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, that's why they shouldn't be in LA, but that's a story for a different day. He is one of those guys that profiles as like next big-time head coach. Mike McDonald, year one, had great success in Seattle. I think you see Jesse Minter have big success with the Ravens. Ravens and Bengals will both be playoff teams.
Yeah, so that's interesting because I am more edged toward the Bengals, but that's a team that we're going to preview at length tomorrow. So we'll have more AFC North conversation in our next team preview coming up tomorrow. But Cincinnati is a team that, like, the years that they have been held back, it's been Joe Burrow gets hurt and or the defense is garbage. With all of the upgrades that they've made on defense, I feel about Cincinnati maybe how you feel about Dallas in the NFC East. Like that is more the team that I lean on, that I want to take in the shootouts and to be over 10.5 wins and to win the division and contend for a Super Bowl. But we were living and dying on the Bengals week to week. And if you are playing Circa Survivor, you're living and dying week to week as well. And our Circa Survivor documentary is heating up right now. This week's episode called, you guessed it, Survival Mode. Week 10 arrives like a wrecking ball, a massive wave of eliminations tearing through the field. And the players who thought they had it figured out suddenly don't. Thanksgiving's on the horizon, and the wrong call won't just cost contestants a game, it'll cost them everything. Catch up today on YouTube. All you need to do is search VSiN Live, and remember, new episodes every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on VSiN as we gear up for this 2026 season. Stick around. More Money Moves coming up after this on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Rolling along here, Monday edition of Money Moves. Stormy, Buonantony, John Jastremski with you. Excited to get into a little bit more futures talk. Looking ahead, football season is officially here, and that means no better time than now to head behind the counter. Roll it.
Where are the lines changing? And where's the money going? Let's go behind the counter.
And who better to head behind the counter with than Chuck Esposito, who joins us here on the Progressive Guest Line. Red Rock Casino Race and Sportsbook Director, does great work with STN Sports. Chuck, we have missed having you on regularly, my friend. We are huge fans. Glad to have you back in top shape health-wise. And how nice is it now with the NFL preseason officially here that we are looking ahead to real NFL games sooner rather than later?
It's great to be back with you, Storm. For a while, but it's good to be back and really excited about football season. You can just tell there's a different vibe, different atmosphere, different buzz in the book. Even with just one preseason game being played, it's good for our side of the counter. I know the guests are excited as well.
Well, the feeling's mutual, Chuck. I can't wait for the start of this year. And what I'm dying to know right out of the gate here is you guys have the futures odds up. I mean, they're up literally right after the Super Bowl. So when Seattle took down New England, boom, there are the odds for the 2026 season. Who has been the team that people have been rushing to the window that they can't wait to bet, to win this year's Super Bowl? Is there a team where you're like, holy smokes, we're getting nothing but these tickets?
Yeah, there always is, guys. Definitely, of course, it's not the Seahawks. It's the Rams, who are like the top of the board as far as short odds go, with making the trade for Garrett and, the rumblings about Donald coming back. There's a lot of Ram money coming in. But when you're looking for more value, you seem to be the NFC West, where the Broncos and Chargers are getting a tremendous amount of love from the bettors. That seems to be two teams that the bettors are backing right now. We've seen their odds drop. And then we always see Raider money come in, but, they're in such a tough division. I just don't see any scenario where they're actually going to be one of the top, three teams in the AFC West or be a playoff team at this point, although I like some of the moves they made in the offseason. But Chargers, Broncos are two teams that are getting a lot of love right now from the bettors.
I'm glad you brought up the Raiders, and I figured you would, because they're a team obviously that has low expectations. They had the number one pick for a reason. But being a Vegas book, like, what is the typical split, let's say, on the win total over or under? How much of the percentage of tickets that you get in on the Raiders are for them to go over, for the, even a Super Bowl lottery ticket, anything like that with the Vegas residents here in town?
It's unreal, Stormy. I mean, it's really one-sided. I mean, we see that with the Knights. We see it with the Aces, and then, of course, football is king. So you see it with the Raiders. I mean, our loss on the Raiders, of course, is larger than any other team right now. I don't think there's a scenario where you see Mendoza start early in the season. I think, they make the right call by going with Cousins, and depending on how the season goes or a catastrophic injury, maybe he gets some work, after week 8 or so. But I think they make the right call by letting him sit to start the season behind Kirk Cousins. But from a fan's perspective, we want to see the Raiders do really well. But from the business side of it, we're not going to be rooting for them, unfortunately.
Well, we totally get that, Chuck. I know a lot of people within the area probably lining up. Hey, give me that over for the Raiders. Give me to make the playoffs. Let's just have a little fun because we live in the area. Not conducive for the sports book. I get it. But if there's a team with greater than 30-1 odds to win the Super Bowl, has there been a team where you guys have seen the market move and work downwards, dare I say, where it's gone from like a 50-1 to a 40-1 or a 40-1 to a 30-1, where you guys are like, sound the alarm here? Anybody stand out?
Not really sound the alarm, but a team that's starting to get some love and maybe that will rebound a little bit is the Commanders. We know they had a lot of injuries last year. They go out and they get Diggs in the offseason. They improve the running back room as well. So I'd say the Commanders are one of the teams that are getting a little bit of love, but so are the Cowboys with the price that they're at. So both teams in the NFC East are showing a little bit of love as Commanders and Cowboys right now, with a little bit higher odds than some of those teams at the top of the board.
What about, we've talked a lot of quarterback battles today. Any of the teams with a quarterback battle going on that people have been buying in on, the Browns, the Vikings, the Falcons, any one of those three teams that people have had a little bit of intrigue on in a positive way?
Not so much the Browns, Stormy, but I think when it comes to the Vikings and Falcons, yes. I think everyone expects it to be Murray with the Vikings. And as far as the Falcons go, I think they brought Tua in to potentially be a guy who could start right now. Penix comes off the injury. Tua had a little bit of struggles last year, but I look at the skill position players with the Falcons, and if Tua is right, I think they've got a really good offense with Pitts and Robinson and London. I think they're a very talented offensive team that Tua could do very well with. So those are two teams with quarterback battles that are showing a little bit of love, but I do think it's going to be Murray, and I think it's going to be Tua to start the season for the Falcons as well.
I will say, as someone that was in the Tua business as the last 5 years, 6 years as a Miami Dolphin fan, I was his biggest defender, Chuck. Biggest defender. Wanted him, loved him at Alabama, can't move, can't throw. I get all of the points about, hey, easy schedule, new head coach, talented skill position guys with Bijan and with Pitts and with Drake London. He just looked totally cooked to me. That's the problem I have with them. From a long shot standpoint, am I crazy to like New Orleans here, 80 to 90 to 1? Because I think they're winning the division. I can't get enough for Tyler Shook. Their defense played really well in the second half. Have you guys had anybody line up to the window to go and bet New Orleans at 80 or 90 to 1 to win the Super Bowl?
They're not lining up at the window, John, but they're definitely throwing darts at the window. with the Saints. I think that whole division is wide open, and you can make a case for any one of those four teams. And the odds are so different on the four that I don't think there's that same separation from top to bottom. But you hear a lot of rumblings about how good that Saints offense can potentially be with the draft and with a healthy Olave. That they're a team that a lot of people seem to like. So based on the price, I'd say yes, that they're not actually lining up, but they're a team that there's a lot of interest on as well.
Chuck Esposito of STN Sports and the Red Rock Racing Sportsbook out here in Summerlin. While we're waiting on football season to officially begin, it is contest season, obviously, with all the signups that are going on. And I know you guys over at Stations have done such a great job over the years with Last Man Standing. For any of our new listeners, can you explain what the contest is and how people that are in town right now looking to sign up can do so?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up, Stormy. Last Man Standing is our signature contest. You sign up for $25. You get one entry. For 100 at four entries, you get a fifth entry free. And I know there's a lot of phenomenal contests out there that are big money entry fees. This is one for $25. We guarantee you a $150K aggregate payout in the pros and a $100K aggregate payout in college, meaning if there's multiple winners, they would split the prize. But for $25, Brian Blessing used to say this contest is matchsticks to lumber yards. And I couldn't agree more that with all the big money contests out there, that you really have an opportunity to have a really nice payday for $25. So get signed up right now. The contest format is you're picking one game against the STN contest line each week. It's like the college basketball tournament. You win and you move on. You lose and that card is dead. But for $100, again, you're going to get 5 entries into Last Man Standing.
And I got to imagine, Chuck, a whole lot of those entries for Last Man Standing. Week 1, the Los Angeles Chargers are going to be the team people are turning in. Just taking a look at the schedule. I expect them to be the consensus.
There's no question you're going to look for some big number favorites like that on the board, and I think they will be one of them. The good thing about Last Man Standing is you're not restricted. If you want to use the Chargers again, you can. So you can use teams multiple times throughout the course of the season. And, again, it's $150 guaranteed in the pros, and it's an aggregate payout again. So if there's multiple winners, they would split. But there's been many times where we've had one winner and $100K guaranteed in the college contest. So both fun contests for a very small entry fee and give you a lot of fun throughout the course of the season.
Chuck, again, glad to have you back. Looking forward to checking in with you and bugging you all football season. But thanks for doing this, buddy.
My pleasure. It's no bug at all, man. Bug me whenever you guys want. Always love jumping on with you guys.
See, you shouldn't have said that because we're going to take advantage. Chuck Esposito, again, everybody doing great work over there at Red Rock Racing Sportsbook. For inquiring minds, the Chargers played the Cardinals week 1. They're a double-digit, 10.5-point favorite. How do you feel about the ATS number, though? Could the Cardinals be a sneaky cover in week 1? Anything can happen opening weekend.
No doubt. And, Stormy, I've gotten burned in way too many of these contests when I just look at the biggest favorite on the board and say, yeah, that's what I'm going to take. And then all of a sudden, it's like a 3-point game with like 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Yes, I would expect that Arizona, at least in week 1, might be a little frisky because of the fact that so many people within these contests are going to need the Los Angeles Chargers to win. I've learned, Stormy, it's never that easy.
It's never that easy, 100%. Again, 10.5 the number, total 46.5. We got to step aside when we come back. I can't believe we've been going so long today. We haven't talked any Major League Baseball. 10-game card coming up today. I know a handful of plays that JJ's got in pocket already. We will hit on it all when we return right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Football season is just around the corner, and the sharp money is already moving. Here's how the Sharp Plays sees it first. Exclusive data feeds from 4 major sportsbooks, thousands of sharp bettors and professional syndicates tracked in real time before the market moves, all of it filtered and sorted by version 6.0 of their AI model. That's the machine, now the receipts. Every play is logged, every result is public, records tracked going back to 2011, and live logs since 2021. It all feeds a live performance terminal you can check out anytime with no login, no paywall. Everybody Nobody else in the industry runs one because most records couldn't survive it. The Sharp Plays record gets audited daily by their own haters, which is fun. No steam chasing, no stale trends, no recycled plays. Follow the Sharp Money at sharpplays.com. Stormy Buonantony and John Jastremski back here with you on a Monday edition of Money Moves. Time to dive into a little Major League Baseball. We got a 10-game card coming up today. And I want to start here before we get into the game-by-game basis, asking you about this Boston Red Sox team real quickly, because the hot streak, it finally came to an end over the weekend. They dropped 2 of 3 to the A's, which ended what has just been an absolute tear and their first series lost since the end of June, which is just absolutely insane to think about. But is this team, big picture, in your mind, are they the team to be most scared of coming out of the American League once we get to postseason time?
From a Yankee perspective, Stormy, the answer to that question is a resounding yes. Look at the Red Sox run differential. They're 31-5 in their last 36 games. They're going to get Adley Rutschman, who's not the player he once was, but he's still going to give them an infusion of offense in the catcher spot. That all being said, as dangerous as the Red Sox, Stormy, may be come October, I think the next few weeks, though, it's a time to go and attack them a little bit because they're going to be overvalued by the market. The public is still going to be enamored with the Red Sox, right? They were 31-5 in the last 36. We got to keep betting them. We got to keep riding them. This is where I'm going to go the other way here. Now, I took, what are we calling them? Sacramento. I almost called them Vegas. I almost called them Oakland. The A's, long story short. I took them on Saturday, and they were a big dog. I wish I was frisky enough to do it again on Sunday. Well, people are going to look at this Blue Jays-Red Sox matchup, and they'll be like, JJ, Sonny Gray is on the mound. He's been one of the best pitchers in the American League. Jameson Taillon is not any good. Why do you like Toronto in this spot? Look at the way the line has moved in the direction of the Toronto Blue Jays. What does that tell you? A couple of things here. One, the market is inflating the Red Sox a little too much. Number two, Toronto has played Boston very tough this year. They have throughout the regular season. You go back to last year, they ate their lunch. I think you're getting good value here with a Toronto team that's been a big disappointment so far, but I think they'll get up for these games against the Red Sox. I'm taking them plus money tonight. That's play number one.
Well, and to your point, the Red Sox have been taking a little bit of money here this morning as well, bet up now to minus 153. So the Blue Jays, you're getting a little bit of a better number if you're betting them now than you were this morning. So maybe keep waiting, hold out hope until you get closer to first pitch and see if that number can climb a little bit more in favor of Toronto. Real quickly, too, because you obviously asked the question from a Yankees fan perspective and somebody who has a lot of belief in this team, where do you sit on Aaron Judge coming back? Like, are we feeling good about it? Are we feeling antsy? What's your thought process on what New York can be come October?
Stormy, I'm going to trust the Yankee captain on this. When he kind of said confidently about a week ago, I will be back playing this year. Now, in what capacity? That's where my hesitation comes in. Is it 70% of Aaron Judge? Is it 80% of Aaron Judge? Stormy, I'll take that over what I've seen being run out in the outfield for the Yankees. They could use the big fella back. And, you know, their season's interesting because their pitching has been exemplary. Like, they have as good a 1-2-3 as you could find maybe in all of baseball with Cam Schlittler, Max Fried. I saw him in person Friday dominate the Atlanta Braves. Garrett Cole's going 7 innings. It feels like every single start, and he's missing bats. You go into a postseason series with those 3 guys, you're cooking in a big way. But the Yankee offense has been incredibly anemic. They need to get Judge back on the field. I don't think you'll see him for the next few weeks. I'd say right after Labor Day, anywhere around there, that's when I think the Yankee captain comes back.
Okay, you mentioned it. So the Yankees just took 2 of 3 from the Braves. Atlanta was able to salvage a win on Sunday in that 2-1 extra inning win. They're looking to push it forward against the other team from New York today, who you actually like a little bit as well. Mets have been running hot this week, swept the Guardians in Cleveland, took 2 of 3 from the Pirates, an 11-1 walloping yesterday in Pittsburgh. Why do you like New York to get it done today against the Braves too? Well, the other New York against the Braves.
So, Stormy, yesterday I did Visa Weekend Morning Line, and I feel like I've been on the right side of every single one of these Met games on Sunday. I either fade the Mets or I bet the Mets, and it's worked out pretty well for me. Sunday it did not. The Pirates absolutely stunk. They got smoked in the first couple innings. Showman I looked like the guy he was a few years ago, and it was a very lousy wager for your boy. But you asked me why I like the Mets on Monday. A couple of reasons. One, since the trade deadline, They traded away Peralta. They traded away Luke Weaver. They traded away a couple other guys. They're playing the best baseball, arguably, that we've seen all season. They swept Cleveland. They win 2 out of 3 against the Pirates. And they've played the Braves pretty tough this year, which is strange to say because normally Atlanta has been a house of horrors. Playing the Atlanta Braves has been nightmarish for the Mets. This version in 2026 has played them tough. I don't love Bryce Elder, who's pitching for Atlanta tonight. Christian Scott can miss bats. And if you're looking for a guy to play in the prop market, Stormy, Francisco Lindor has unbelievable numbers against Bryce Elder. So I like him over 1.5 total bases. If you're really feeling frisky, maybe you want to go and take Lindor to go and homer tonight. I think Francisco Lindor has a big day. Mets have a big day, and they stay hot. I like them plus money against the Braves.
Yeah, and I know Elder has been better looking lately his last 3 starts, but it was also against the Marlins, Nationals, and Orioles. And so you never know how much you can really take away from those starts either. So to your point, this has not been a great season for Elder. I don't mind fading him at all, getting a plus 130 or better price out there. My only concern against Atlanta has just been how good they've been at home this season, second only to the Brewers in that home record. It's played out pretty well for them when they're playing in Atlanta.
No, I get that. But look at how that line has moved a little bit, too.
Sure.
Atlanta, and remember, coming off a pretty hotly contested series against the Yankees. A lot of emotional games, a lot of close games, and pay attention to bullpen usage, too. Extra innings on Friday, extra innings on Sunday. That maybe is a theme in this game.
I know you don't have a bet in this Royals-Dodgers game coming up late night, but just for curiosity's sake, with Tarek Skubal making his first start at Dodger Stadium as a Dodger, any immediate thoughts on what it looks like tonight? They're near $3 favorites, minus 272, total sitting 7.5. But not only this game, but big picture for the Dodgers, who are essentially the evil empire these days in Major League Baseball with the way that they bring in talent. Any thoughts that stand out to you with the Skubal trade and maybe tonight?
Okay, so it's funny they make this Skubal trade and then they go and lose like 6 or 7 games in a row. And it feels like the Dodgers in the middle of summer do this every single year, Stormy, where they just get super bored throughout the regular season. There's so much championship pedigree on the team where it's like, okay, going through the motions for a couple of weeks. We'll see you in October. And that's why I'd have some buyer beware with a couple of these big numbers. Now, they played the Red Sox. They played Arizona. Those are more spunky teams than what the Kansas City Royals have been this year. I mean, that's one of the biggest flops in all of baseball. I mean, there is actually some legitimate talent on the Royals. They should not be as bad as they've been. So I'm not suggesting, Stormy, that I'm lining up to go and bet plus 250 on KC tonight. I'm not willing to do that. But I'm just going to caution everybody. Be careful. Hey, it's easy. Let's just take the Dodgers laying a 1.5. Hey, let's throw in a 3 or 4 leg baseball parlay. And we know, hey, the Dodgers are a free leg. I don't know if it's a free leg. And you could get burned here if you're just throwing in these huge favorite numbers with the Dodgers because they've not been playing their best baseball. And I can guarantee you this, they will look like a much different team come early October than the team that we're watching on the field over the last 2 weeks.
It's a point well taken, though, when you look at this streak that they've been on, losing 8 of their last 9 games. They were swept by the Red Sox, swept by the Cubs, and then lose 2 of 3 to the Arizona Diamondbacks. One of these things is not like the other when you face the Kansas City Royals the next day after that, right? So, yeah, definitely take that in mind. A plus 250 price for the Royals, but big picture, yes, there is faith in Los Angeles and what they can do. They're a huge favorite to win the World Series again for the 3rd straight year, and it's just vomit-inducing for any of us that root for other teams at this point. And we know, and it's not even the Skubal trade of it all to make this that much more cemented, but that we're going to have a lockout coming next year. So, JJ, get ready for all of your non-baseball talk next summer because we're going to need it.
That's okay. I will master the art in the PGA Tour. Hopefully it's a short lockout, though. Stormy, I'm a positive person, optimistic person. Start the season right around my birthday, May 15th, and everybody wins.
I will say, it's very exciting to be around a New Yorker that's as positive as you are. It's true. You're a beacon of sunshine.
I'm not, no BS. So it does go to show you, oh, everybody in New York's miserable. They're yelling this. I do yell and scream a lot, but I'm very happy-go-lucky. I promise. I'm just loud and happy-go-lucky. Yeah.
I'm here for it. And while we won't be able to talk a whole lot of baseball, it seems like for a good chunk of the summer next year, we can still talk more of it coming up after this quick timeout because we will recap the best bets. There's still one more baseball game that JJ hasn't given out yet that he has a play on. And we're closing out the day. The show has gone by so fast, but Monday editions always do that after a busy weekend. Let's close things out strong. Next on Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Stormy and JJ.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Man, I'm just giddy this type of year. Football is back. We're all getting excited, and there are, too, so many betting opportunities in the futures market. If you sign up for VSiN Pro today, you can get both our NFL and college football betting guides that are out right now, packed with team previews, power ratings, proven betting systems, and, of course, your favorite best bets from all of your favorite VSiN hosts and analysts to help you bet football smarter all season long. You also, when you're a VSiN Pro subscriber, get unlimited access to the daily best bets page on the website, real-time bet splits, AI-powered prop projections, including our MLB player props and totals picks, plus 24/7 video on the VSiN Watch app. You can start today for just $9.99, or you can get a full year subscription, save 50% when you go with VSiN Pro Annual. Head over to vsin.com/subscribe today. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. And I honestly say all the time that the guides alone are worth the investment for the subscription. You get so much content, JJ, in each one of those guides for college football, NFL, or as we go, NBA is going to be back again before you know it. We'll be locked and loaded with an NBA betting guide. It's unlimited as we go throughout the course of the season.
So, Stormy, as someone that was on vacation, like 2 weeks ago, and when I was not chasing around a 14-month-old who loved the beach and wanted every bit of the ocean, but when I had the moment where sister was on duty, wife was on duty, grandma was on duty, the phone was out, and a whole lot of NFL prep work was done. And it was nice to have those moments in Zen where it's VSiN betting guide, getting my mind ready for the start of the year. Love it.
Yes, it's just get the cliff notes. Just see what people are betting. Get the breakdown of the teams, who's changed from what team to what team. We were even talking in the commercial break about so much turnover in college football. The guide breaks down who the transfers are, who's coming in, who's coming out, where new coordinators and new head coaches are. It's a really great resource. So highly recommend it again over at vsin.com/subscribe. We will talk more football in a moment. But first, JJ, if we can, I don't have any best bets today, but you have a bunch of them in Major League Baseball. So if you want to reel off some of the ones we already discussed last segment and then whatever else that you have in the account, let's do it. Best bets time. You have the floor.
Thank you, Stormy. Appreciate it. We want to bounce back. Sunday did not treat us well. It's been a very good, very profitable baseball season. We want to get back to winning ways. And how about this, Stormy? Not one, not two, 3 underdog plays. It's a dog day afternoon for your boy. That's what I'm rolling with here. First, I'm starting with the Toronto Blue Jays, plus money against the Boston Red Sox. Toronto heads up, has played Boston very tough. I think you'll see Toronto find a way. Low-scoring game. Toronto doesn't score a whole lot of runs, but you know what they've done a really nice job of? Despite the fact that they've been one of the biggest disappointments in baseball at 7 games under 500, they've played the Red Sox really well. I think they'll find a way at plus 142 to be a winner for your boy north of the border. So give me the Blue Jays, game number 1. Game 2, I faded this team yesterday. I'm taking them today. I'm on the New York Mets, plus the money in Atlanta against the Braves. I don't love Elder. I know he's been better. You mentioned it over his last couple of starts. This is a guy the Mets should be able to beat up. Lindor's got great numbers against him. Since the trade deadline, Mets swept Cleveland, took 2 or 3 from Pittsburgh. I will take the Mets, who have played the Braves pretty well this year, plus 130 in game number 2. And then last but not least, Stormy, I know you're a sucker for a narrative, a storyline. The storyline is simple. Dean Kramer, first start against his former team. The Orioles dumped Dean Kramer. They said, Minnesota Twins, you can have him. Some people are going to look at it and say, oh, well, Baltimore knows everything they need to know about Dean Kramer. I for one, don't see it. I like what I've seen out of Minnesota as of late. I thought for sure they were going to be a team that sold at the trade deadline. They keep proving me wrong. They keep shutting me up. And I think Dean Kramer will do enough against his former team. Public seems to like the Baltimore Orioles. I do not. Minnesota to cap it off, although this line has moved a little bit here. So maybe I gave you guys some false information currently at the number at minus 109. But when I took it earlier today, it was plus 105. So
an underdog,
the
no
dog
more.
day afternoon is still, we're not changing the theme of the day. Twins, Mets, Toronto Blue Jays. Those are our 3 plays.
I'm here for it. To follow up on the Minnesota angle, obviously we talked about the Vikings earlier today and their quarterback battle. We talked a little bit about the Chicago Bears and some of the injuries that are creeping up for them. 2 teams in the NFC North, we both declared we are not particularly buying in on, especially for the division. So that leaves, my friend, the Packers and the Detroit Lions. I made my stance, and I'll give a little bit more of my argument in a moment, that I am back in the Detroit Lions with everything. I love their win total over. I love them to win the division. But you didn't make your opinion very clear, JJ. So I need to know where you're going.
I'm glad they asked me this question. You're going to like this. I love Detroit this year.
Let's go.
I'm betting them over. I'm betting them over 10.5 wins. I'm betting them to win the division. I almost wanted to fire on them, Stormy, to win the Super Bowl. The problem I have with that is I do believe in this theory. When you have a window to win and you don't win, it's going to come back to bite you. And Detroit, to me, was that team. They had a 3-score lead against your Niners in the NFC title game a couple of years ago, choked the game away. 2 years ago, they were the number 1 seed. The road to the Super Bowl went through Detroit and Jaden Daniels. We've talked a lot about the Commanders throughout the course of the show. They went into Detroit, and they found a way to win. So I don't know if Detroit's getting to a Super Bowl, but I think they have a schedule that is just set up for success. Detroit, it's crazy to say because they were in it for most of last year. They have a last place schedule. Let's take advantage of that. Look at the start of the year for the Detroit Lions. They're going to be favored at home against New Orleans. They're going to be favored at home against the Jets. Then they're at Carolina, winnable game. At Arizona, they're going to be a huge favorite in that one. They get the Packers, the Vikings both at home, and then they go at Miami in early November. I don't know about you, Stormy. I see a whole lot of wins there. A year ago, the Lions were dealing with this sort of upheaval with their coordinators. Ben Johnson picked up, went to Chicago. Even though he was a nightmare year 1 as coach of the Jets, they still lost their defensive coordinator in Aaron Glenn too. So you have a little bit more continuity within the coaching staff. I think they'll have better luck as far as injuries are concerned. And I just think it's one of the most high-powered offenses in the NFL. They'll survive the loss of David Montgomery. And soft schedule, coach I trust, offense I trust. I think Detroit's like an 11 or a 12-win team. I do.
I'm so hyped we're like-minded on this for all of the reasons that you laid out. You're exactly right. And I think last year it was to an extent a season of change when you lose both your coordinators to head coaching gigs like that. You mentioned the injuries. The last 2 years, they had the most injured defense in the league. They had 31 combined games missed from week 1 starters last year in the secondary alone. Like, water has to find its level from that standpoint, you would imagine. And at 9-8 last year, I mean, they had the same record as the worst team in the division than the winner of the NFC South. They're both 9-8, right? Like, that's what wins you a division. Or no, the Panthers were 8-9. They had a better record than the winner of the NFC South last year. Prayers up. But because of that, they benefit from the last place schedule, which in terms of opponent win totals is the easiest in the NFL this year. In terms of opponent win percentage from last year, it's 6th easiest in the NFL. So they have an opportunity here, I think, really, as you laid out, to do some work on that schedule with a really, really talented, high-octane offense that has some really significant key pieces back. Jahmyr Gibbs got paid, so he's going to be happy. Everything seems to be sunshine and rainbows for me with the Lions, paired with the 2 teams we already told you we don't have particular belief in, and then a big question mark for the Green Bay Packers. Like, I just don't know what to think about Green Bay. Do you?
So they find their way to the playoffs every single year. That's one thing I got to give Matt LaFleur credit for. Every year he finds his team the winning record and finds his way into the postseason. The problem I have with the Packers, a lot of questions about that defense. When's Micah Parsons coming back? They have a new defensive coordinator. They go and lose Romeo Doubs. They have a bunch of wide receivers on that team, Stormy, that are in and out of the lineup. And I, for one, am a Jordan Love fan. I like Jordan Love quite a bit. I think he's tough. I think he's got a big arm. He's a guy that played quarterback for my team any day of the week. But little concerns about the overall depth and vibe of the Packers. Not to me as deep a team as they've been in years past. They really need Micah Parsons to come back sooner rather than later.
No question about it. I am very curious to see what this is going to look like early in the season, and that availability when he's able to actually be full go Micah Parsons for sure. Looking at them in Detroit just has more answers when it comes to what I'm looking for in a team. And again, to win the division, we both talked about over that 10.5 win total. The Packers, by the way, their win total sitting at 9.5. They're the second shot in the division. JJ, this was fun. Let's do it again tomorrow, same time. That work for you?
Like the sound of that. One down, one to go, right, Stormy?
Let's do it. Beautiful. No more naked feet talk tomorrow. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back on the podcast, listen to Money Moves. Here, call me crazy, but we had some strong opinions there. You hear that music.
Stormy, I might run and go get a pedicure right now. I'm going. I'm out.
You're going to hang out with John Summerall? He likes those too. Stick around, though. Follow the money coming up after this. Paulie Howard and Mark Malusis up next. And Grandissimo champion Love My Baxter joining the show to talk some Survivor strategy. You won't want to miss it.